Welcome to Just Koryzma, episode 44. I'm your host, Braden Koryzma, and joining me today is Tiffany Seghetti. How are you?
Good, how are you?
I'm pretty good, thank you. So Tiffany, 5 years ago, she came from Calgary to slow down life with her husband and her 2 kids, and now she helps people organize and declutter as well as influence on social media. So that's awesome, that's exciting. So
Yeah.
let's talk about like the decluttering and like organizing stuff. So how did you kind of get into that?
Well, I've always been pretty kind of organized, and simplifying has been kind of like a big, just part of my life. Kind of streamlining things, keeping it simple.
For sure.
And when we left Calgary, we quit our jobs and decided to move to the island, and we had 5 weeks to kind of sell our house, sell our possessions, and set out on the road. And we lived in a campground here for a couple weeks until we could find a place, and that really sort of taught us the importance of, like, even though we didn't have a lot of stuff to begin with.
Yeah.
When you're put in that situation, and when you're like, okay, now you need to downsize and you need to
Totally.
move, you become very aware of all of the stuff that you have. And so it was a big eye-opener to kind of like, we don't really need all the things that we think we need.
Totally, they're more luxury than they are like...
And there's just like boxes of stuff that you don't even know what's in there. So what's the point, right? So the whole experience of kind of moving and coming to the island, kind of like was an eye-opener about just possessions and organizing and simplifying and, kind of having a more minimalist lean, right? So,
Totally.
So that's kind of how the whole decluttering thing came about. And so sometimes I'll, like, if people approach me or want some help in their homes to declutter, if they find they're just overwhelmed with stuff,
right,
and they don't know where to start. Oftentimes people can it's not that they can't do the work themselves, but
right.
it's so overwhelming that they don't know where to start.
Totally.
Right? So, just kind of help them through that process and declutter and simplify and organize. Yeah.
That's awesome. So, like, do you find people are, like, hesitant to get rid of some things, like, especially even though they haven't used them for, like, years?
Yeah. And I think, like, there's lots of different reasons why people hold on to stuff.
Yeah, whether it be, like, nostalgia or memories.
Yeah,
or whatever,
whether
right?
it's, like, sentimental stuff or, a lot of stuff, like, around guilt or what if I need it? Or
totally.
That kind of stuff, right? Yeah.
Okay. So, like, how do you kind of help them overcome that kind of thing?
Depends on kind of what most people that, like, would seek me out, they're kind of ready to kind of let go of some stuff. But I think, like, for sentimental stuff, that's probably the hardest for people.
Totally.
So I think just kind of, like, addressing, like, getting them to think about what it means to them, like, what does this object mean to them?
Right.
And, what does letting go of it mean?
Yeah, totally.
And then once they can kind of, like, identify that, then it's easier to let go. And if you, like, kind of reframe it for, like, maybe there's somebody that could benefit from this, for donating. Like, maybe somebody doesn't have, you've got, like, 2, like a kitchen table that you're not using, or something, like an extra one in storage, and it's like somebody could actually use that, or clothing, or things like that, right? So kind of, like, reframing it helps people, like,
kind of, like, just see, like, oh, that's actually probably a better way of actually, so instead of it sitting in my garage or my basement, it's actually going to have some value. So
so it can benefit somebody. So there's that element of it. Yeah.
Have you ever, like, kind of walked into, like, a hoarder situation where you walk in and you're like, oh my goodness?
No. And I'm still this is still a pretty new venture for me. So I haven't seen, like, a wide range of, I guess, with people's stuff. But, typically it's just, it's not like hoarding, but...
It's just like...
Yeah, they just have a lot of stuff, which, like, a lot of people do, and that's something you don't even realize how much stuff you have until you have to move, or you really are, sorting through your stuff, right? So
moving, like, when I moved out last year, it definitely was, like, an eye-opener. Like, even before that, like, my girlfriend helped me downsize a bit, and I was still, like the people you help, I'm like, and it's just, like, it's all stupid stuff that I really don't need because I'll never really use.
Yeah.
But I'm like, what if?
Yeah, maybe I'll need it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But, yeah, like, it's definitely, like, Or like just like moving, you don't realize you're like, oh, it should only be a couple truckloads, and then you actually break it down. You're like, holy shit, like this is so much.
Totally. And when you physically have to like, when you're actually physically dealing with this stuff, it's like, it becomes more real.
Yeah, totally.
And something that I think about too is like, and it's kind of dark maybe, but you know, when you look at people in your life and say, you know, if somebody passes away or something, their families are left to manage all of your belongings and, you know, their homes and all their stuff too. So it's, that can be a burden on people. Totally. Right? To go sort through years and years of stuff, right? So
especially when it's like so close, depending on I guess who it is, like you might have a lot of emotional attachment to so many of the things.
Yeah. Like, so it's hard, you know, it's like such a big process, right?
Totally.
So yeah, doing stuff like that, like, you know, not like before you die, but like trying to live like a little more minimally, then if it gives you that freedom to like, you know, go into other things because you're not weighed down by your stuff too, right? Or
like if you had a spur of the moment, you're like, you know what, I want to move to this place, and you don't have like, you don't have to worry about getting like a truck just to fill everything up. You can just gotta like do a couple little things.
Yeah. So it's not that you shouldn't have like anything.
No.
But you know, for sure, right? But you mean you live and stuff like that. But and everybody's different, you know. Some people like to have a lot of stuff, and it's not a problem if it's not a problem.
Well, exactly.
Right? You know, if people like to have a lot of stuff, it's not a problem. But it's, you know, it's if it's affecting you, like your stress and your anxiety. If you come home and you're like, oh, because there's just stuff everywhere.
Yeah, it's just
then
like
that's affecting you, right?
Totally. Okay, that's cool.
Yeah.
So you've kind of like, just I guess from venturing those, you've kind of taken on like a more minimalistic type lifestyle.
Yeah.
So how do you find that, like, just from the change and all that stuff?
Yeah. It's good. We still have stuff. You know, we still moved here with stuff. We still, but a big part of it is like not having a bunch of excess stuff.
Makes sense.
Being more mindful with like our purchases.
Okay.
So, you know, you can declutter all you want, but if you don't change like your spending habits or the way that you shop, it's just going to keep accumulating.
Yeah, definitely.
Right? So just like, more of like a minimalist approach that way when it comes to like spending and those kind of habits.
Did you find it kind of an easier transition than you think some others might have, or did you kind of find it a little difficult at first?
I didn't find it difficult at first. Because I think maybe I've always kind of been maybe more minimalist that way.
Okay.
So I didn't find it like super hard, but it was definitely, like I said, it was still an eye-opener. Like,
for sure.
You know, in the move, like I didn't even think we had all this stuff, and we have this stuff, right? It's like, where are they even coming from? So, yeah.
That's going to be pretty beneficial, though. Like, it's the fact that you can, like, with living more minimalistic, you definitely save more money, which would definitely help you guys on everything. Like, give you guys more chances to go on vacations, you know, or, like, save up for something that you and your husband actually both were wanting to get or something like that. Yeah. So that's got to be kind of nice.
Totally. It's, and because for a while, like, being a child and youth counselor in Calgary, and then both of us quitting our jobs and moving here, and my husband is in the trades, and then I was at home with my boys, so it was a single income. So we went from 2 full incomes to 1 income, so that also played a role in like budgeting and living within our means, and like really clear boundaries on needs and wants, right? Yeah. So that ties into like, you know, minimalism too, right? It's just not, you have to be more intentional with your spending, for sure, shopping, your and where your values are too, right?
Definitely. Like I definitely think everyone should kind of go through that kind of phase, because it's like at least then they know what's actually important and stuff like that. Like, it also teaches them like a lot of responsibility. Yeah. Because like especially when you're living on 1 income, you can't just see like, oh, I'm gonna go buy like this handful of things that's like $60. It's like, no, you can't just do that. Like, you have to actually think about it and be like, well, like, is that $60 worth it, or is that $60 you get groceries, or like you know, anything that you could, or like something that kids need, or, you know, stuff like that. So I think it's definitely think it's something people should go through, even though like I've experienced it, but like never to the degree where it's on my own. I just kind of just from my parents' point of view type thing. Yeah. So I definitely have a better understanding, I think, than some others. But
yeah, and that's so good. Yeah. That you were like exposed to that, because that's like a lot of people just aren't, money is still such a, money and spending and that kind of stuff, it's still such a like taboo almost subject, you know, we can talk about sex, we can talk about whatever, right? But it's like money and everyone's like, it's like, you know, but just being, you know, realistic about money and like spending and like, you know, in school, like I never took any classes about budgeting and like like in high school or whatever, and taxes, like these are like super important,
but they're like, nah, a squared plus b squared equals c squared, and then they're like, no, like then they're like shoving down like social studies and all that other stuff that doesn't matter. Don't get me wrong, those are important, but like realistically,
practical skills, you know, how to change a flat tire, you know, like all of these kinds of things.
All these things, like I don't even think they do really sewing anymore in that anymore. So it's just like the kids are just like, I think one of the things is dance now, so it's just like, you can dance, but you can't, like, you know, fix a table.
But yeah, it's totally like so important to be exposed to like like budgeting and like money, like a money mindset, and like how to be kind of smart that way. And because money, like debt and all that stuff, like that
accumulates quickly, like
and it's crazy, you know. And if like people don't, you know, kind of like have an understanding of it and like how spending, you know, it's like, I'm just gonna buy stuff with my credit card, like we have to pay that off.
Well, that's just
you know, I try to teach my son that too. It's just like, this is a credit card, this isn't actual like real money, like this debit card here, like this is money, but this is just, you know, and like you have to pay that back though, but like if you don't have money, you know, so
well, that's just it, right? Like, and like some people probably always forget, like you earn money, it takes longer for you to earn that money, and you can spend that money just like like one purchase, like
totally.
Like I treated myself last week and spent $150 on Marvel movies last week. Because why not?
You treat yourself.
Yeah, and I was like,
you gotta treat yourself sometimes.
Should I have? And then I was like, well. And I just didn't have. I was just like, it's fine. It's
already done.
It's already done, and now I don't have to worry about it. But like it's crazy how quickly it disappears.
Yeah, and if you think of it like in the sense of like, there's like a quote that's like, we don't buy things with like money, we buy them with like hours of our life and stuff like that, right? It's like how many, you know.
How many man hours did it take for me to make that $150, right?
Yeah.
Like, and it's just like, you gotta think that's like a day's worth of pay or whatever, right?
Mm-hmm. Like, so it really like kind of shifts your thinking too, right? If you're trying to kind of, be more like, I guess, like budget minded or minimalist that way, right?
Yeah.
So it's, definitely important.
So then what's your favorite part about being living that kind of more minimalistic life?
I think for me, I'm just pretty content with like not a lot of stuff. Yeah. So I'm not like, I feel the best part of it is that I don't feel like I'm chasing stuff.
Right. Okay.
You know, which is like so freeing.
Yeah.
Because there was a time when I was younger where, you know, you see things and you want things, and like, I'm a photographer too, so I like my photography hobby. It's like, like I wish that I could like have better equipment.
Of course,
But you know, all that stuff costs money and stuff. But when you kind of like shift your focus away from like material things, and you're just like happy with like simple things, you know. Yeah. Like you can appreciate just being in nature, or it doesn't take a lot to make you feel content.
Yeah, totally.
So that's like such a good thing about it, I find.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's really cool. So Tiffany, this is the part of the show called the motivational moment. Okay. So would you describe your passion in 5 words or less?
My passion in 5 words or less. I guess I would say keep it simple. That's like my words. I guess keep it simple. Keep it simple. Perfect. I guess my passion, but like my philosophy, I guess, kind of in like all areas. Yeah. Just make it like keep it simple.
So why do you choose that? Just because like to make it easy on yourself as like.
Like I think we. I don't know, it's like easy to really like overcomplicate things, whether that's like with stuff or with like relationships or scheduling or whatever. It's just easy to like overcomplicate things, and
definitely.
So just like keeping it simple, whether that be like your home or, you know, just your life, I guess. Keeping it simple.
Totally.
I don't know.
That's cool.
It's my, yeah.
It's great. Yeah, I mean, like, it makes sense. Like, I mean, when you keep it simple, like, I mean, it's just everything kind of flows better. You're not stressing about more things. Like, I mean, I could sit here and stress about, like, my relationship, or I could sit here and stress about, you know, why haven't I been at home more today, or, like, you know, stress about, like, so many other, there's so much things you can stress about, but why? Why would you bother? Just relax. Keep, like, figure out ways to, like, not make these things so complicated.
Yeah, just, like, find ways to, like, in your daily life, finding ways to simplify, like, whether, like, simplifying your schedule.
Yeah.
Or saying no to things.
Totally.
That, like, you don't want, giving yourself permission to say no to things, and freeing yourself up that way to pursue things that you want to.
Definitely, right?
So simplifying that way, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's cool. Yeah. So you also, you're telling me about you do some social media influencing.
Yeah.
And, like, you were kind of doing some social media. So tell me about that stuff. So, like, how did you kind of get into the influencing?
Well, like, with my Instagram page, I just started it, like, I don't know, kind of as, like, a hobby.
For sure.
I didn't know anything about social media, really. I didn't know anything. And so I started it because I had a photography hobby. I enjoyed nature, so I would get out there and be doing photography and being in nature, and through it I started to, like, then my focus was, like, simplicity and that kind of stuff, and with organization, and so it was all kind of coming together, and then through that social media I was able to just, like, connect with different people like you, and just being able to connect with people that maybe I normally wouldn't connect with, and through those connections then little things started popping up for partnering with brands, or, like, products, or you know, things like that, where it was, like, or the magazine or whatever, right? Like, doing the shoot with Boulevard magazine, like, just meeting people and connecting that way, and then just getting work kind of through that way. And it was, a lot of it was just kind of, like, unexpected, and then so now I'm, like, more kind of pursuing it a bit because it's
fun, right?
It's fun, and it's I like connecting with people, especially locally, like working with local businesses and agencies and things like that. It'd be awesome if I could find a way to, like, tie in my social work background, like working with high-risk youth and stuff with agencies here, and doing, like, anytime they have events or things like that, and, like, promoting that kind of stuff too, like so some social media influence, like, around that kind of stuff too, not just, like, products or brands.
Definitely.
And anything that I would, like, kind of align myself with is things that, like, I naturally align with anyways.
Yeah.
So especially being, like, more of a minimalist, right? Like, it's actually be like, be a minimalist, and then, like, buy all this shit. Like,
totally, right? Like,
right? Definitely. Can I say that word?
Of course. But
right.
No, I definitely.
So it's,
so you gotta, like, kind of, like, align yourself with companies and brands that are kind of have the similar visions as you, where it's not like, it's like, I'm using these products, but, like, don't go buy, like, a shit ton of it. Just, like, if you are interested and, you know, you
like,
want to.
Yeah, like, I see the benefit, or it's not just, like, flashy stuff just to be flashy or whatever, right? There's nothing wrong with that, but it just doesn't, like, align with my
with my
page. So to feel like a connection with the brand or the whatever, right?
Totally. Yeah. It's like the group Kind of Funny I follow. They will not do any sponsor deal or anything like that. They will not work with anyone that they don't believe in. Yeah. So, like, just because they're not trying to sell themselves out. They want to, like, be actually, like, passionate about this thing, and then be like, no, we've used the product, we support it. You guys should check it out. Yeah, exactly. It's, like, authentic that way. Right? Yeah, exactly. It's real, and it's, like, it's cool, and it just definitely makes you, like, I guess it kind of helps, like, even though I don't know them super personally, it's like it kind of helps build that trust more. Even though it's just, like, an online personality type thing. It's like, I can, like, trust their opinions, I can trust this. So it's like, okay, maybe I'll try this. Yeah. And then, worst case scenario, I don't like it, but, I mean, not everything's going to be for me. Exactly. If you don't feel like they're, like, just shoving stuff down your throat, you know what I mean? You feel like they like it, and, like, we're, you know, it's, like, aligned that way. Totally. So that's good. So what's kind of been, like, your favorite part, like, your favorite kind of brand that you've worked with, or, like, what, or I guess what event that you did with them? I would say I haven't done it yet, so I can't say it's my favorite, but there's something that we're working on right now that, it's something that, like, something locally here that I really support and, have supported since I've been here and have wanted to be involved with.
So yeah, I don't know how to say that, but I mean, it's not confirmed yet, so I can't say that I am partnering with them. But but they do like events, and there's lots with like being outdoors and stuff like that, right? So that would be like an ideal partnership for me, just because it's something that I support authentically and has played such a big part in my life since moving here. So.
Okay. That's awesome.
Yeah, so we'll see.
So then has anyone kind of reached out to you for like social media managing, or are you kind of more going for like just the influencer type?
It's mostly like certain products or events or things like that, but there has been, like just recently there was something like that, and again, everything's kind of up in the air. and because it's not my background, right? Like my background is in social work, and I just did this Instagram page on my own, and I'm just learning as I go. Totally. Right? It's been 1.5 years maybe. So I'm like, I don't have any expertise like in this field at all, right? But so things are kind of up in the air, but I'm excited about the possibility of pursuing different opportunities that way.
So then, like, I guess just doing all, between the organizing and the social media stuff, is that something you'd like to turn into full-time type?
Yeah, I think so. And like I was saying to you before, like it being a transition time for me now, where my youngest kid is going into school, so then both my kids will be in school full-time, so then that opens my schedule up that way to pursue things more, because when you have kids at home, it's like you're kind of juggling, right?
Yeah, I mean, there's only so much you can do, because I mean they're obviously priority, right?
And I still would like to do some work with in social work as well, like whether that be working at a treatment center or in some capacity too, right? I still maintain my social work registration, just because I'm like, once you lose it, then it's like you can't really get it back. It's like such a big process to get it back.
Okay. Do you have to like renew it every X amount of years?
Yeah, I renew it every year. Okay. It's my Alberta one still. I can't get registered in BC because I have a diploma in social work in Alberta. In BC, you have to have the degree. And I'm not going back to school. I'm not taking any more courses. So I just maintain my Alberta one, and it's fine.
I mean, as long as you could definitely find work here with it. Yeah. So I mean, I don't see what the problem would be.
Yeah. So in some capacity, I'd like to do like a combination of like all of those.
I definitely think there's definitely always. I mean, with the amount of like the weird jobs people have, like whether it be like a YouTube star or like some of the things that like Instagram, you can be like, you can legit probably just run an Instagram page and make tons of money just on brand deals. I think there would be some way you could definitely pull it off.
Yeah. So we'll see what the direction that things go, and it's been a good lesson in putting myself out there.
Totally.
And it's like not like my natural personality to be putting myself out there.
Right.
I'm more introverted. I'm more like, I'm not like, hey, let's network. Like it's not my personality, right? But through like Instagram and like learning, and that engagement is such a big part of it, and connecting with people, that it's not only been good like for any career opportunities, but it's been good just like for personal development too.
Totally.
It's
definitely like, it's nerve-wracking reaching out to someone, because you're just like, you never know what they're gonna say. They might just read it and never reply. They may never open it. They might say no, but I mean, I would prefer they say no, thank you, than to never reply.
I know. Yeah, I've had those too, where they just don't reply. It's like, well, okay.
Okay, like, I guess I'll move on.
Yeah, it's like, well, did they get it, or like, did it actually, like, was it technology, or they just,
totally.
You never know, right?
Yeah, but then when the people say yes, it's just like, oh, like, actually, and then you're just like, then it just like gets going back and forth, and it's like, this is awesome.
Yeah, and like, you don't know unless you put yourself out there, and I think a big part of that too is like reframing failure, right? And like, not thinking of failure as like a bad thing, but just like even like making like a goal about failure. Like, I'm gonna fail 10 times this month. Yeah. And like, in however failure looks for you, I'm gonna, like, my goal is to fail 10 times, and then that goal makes you put yourself out there more.
Totally.
Makes you like push yourself, because you're like, okay, well, I gotta like fail 10 times. So then you're like sending these messages and reaching out to people, and then you may not actually be like failing at anything. You're actually,
totally
developing that way, right? Like putting yourself out there. So reframing failure is like super important, I think.
And I think Gary Vee puts it like if you fail and then you kind of just stop caring, you clearly weren't very invested into it anyways.
Yeah.
So I mean, like, if you fail and you're like, you're just ready to push past and keep going, then it's clearly something that you're very interested and passionate about.
Yeah.
So obviously you're onto something, so keep going. Like, don't stop.
Yeah.
So like, it like just, I get excited when people say no, because then I'm like, I'm that much closer to a yes.
Yeah.
So like, I guess it's good.
Yeah.
I like it.
It is good. And the more no's that you get, like, then the less it like stings.
Totally, right?
You know, because you get like,
you kind of
get kind of used to it in a sense that it's not so scary, and it's like you don't take it so personally either, and like, you know, it's not actually that big of a deal to be like rejected, and you know, like, I think we all have that fear, right?
Totally, right? Like, because no one likes to be rejected, and everyone wants everything to go right the first time, right? But I mean, obviously, it's not always gonna happen.
Yeah.
So. Yeah, I mean, like, if you can roll with the punches, like, I think you're onto something good. Like.
Yeah. Yeah.
But Tiffany, I just wanted to thank you for coming on the show.
Thanks for having me.
I really appreciate it. So where can the people find you?
The people, they can find me just on Instagram, Orderly Lifestyle.
Okay.
Yeah, I have Facebook under Orderly, but don't really post there. I know, right? I gotta get on it. Does anybody use Facebook anymore? Is that a thing?
I do.
Yeah. Okay. I'm old, so I don't know.
There's a thing where you can use Instagram, and then you can click it to post on Facebook.
Yeah, I know that. Okay, yes. I know that much. Yeah. So that's basically just Instagram.
Instagram. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely check her out. You know, I mean, I'm sure not a lot of big brands watch her, but if you do, get this woman. She's the one you want. You can find me at Just Koryzma on anything: Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. If you like the show, subscribe and check out the other videos. They're really funny and awesome. So thank you guys, and we'll see you guys next time.